welcome to Sing for Your Supper. Welcome back to our series on Rethinking Thanksgiving. So the other day when I made the chicken and I made some gravy, I used up all of my brown stock that I had already made. And I really want to have some for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to show you how to make some brown stock today that you can use in a bunch of recipes at Thanksgiving. So I have the leftover bones from the carcass of the chicken that I made, and I'm just going to spread that out on a sheet pan. And I've got my oven preheating to 350, and just try and spread those out onto your sheet pan. I'm just going to pop them in there, and I'm going to get started on my mirepoix. So remember when we made that chicken the other day, I told you to save all of these scraps instead of composting them. So what we're going to do with all those scraps, instead of just letting them go back to the earth, is we're going to use them. You know, we paid for these, so we might as well put them to use. You don't really need these onion papers, so get rid of as many of those as you can. And I'm just going to toss these onto my sheet pan. You see I've got my little celery ends, and there aren't too many carrot ends, so I just have scrubbed a carrot. And there's not a ton of celery either. I use onions all the time, so I got lots of little onion ends. But I'm just going to chop off the very, very end, these little roots that are not going to be too flavorful. And I'm just going to give these a big old chop. These are really just used as flavoring, so they don't need to be chopped in any particular way. Alright, I'm going to get these onto my sheet pan, and I'm going to toss these into the oven along with my chicken bones. Okay, so I went in the other room to do my homework while I was browning my bones. And do you remember those old cartoons where the smell of something would pick someone up and they would float along to whatever was causing the smell? That's how I felt, because this smells so incredible. It's worth it just for the smell alone to do this. Alright, so you see the bones are starting to get brown. Ooh, look at that one, yum. So just move them around. Make sure they're all getting that nice golden brown, and pop them back in the oven. And I'm going to do the same thing to my mirepoix. That looks like it has a lot of time left to go. And I may actually throw a little bit of oil on that just to help them caramelize a little bit. So I got just a little bit of olive oil, not too much, because we don't want to add all that extra fat that we don't really need, but could use just a little bit of help. Just toss that around, put it back in the oven, and we got probably about 15-20 minutes left on these before we start making the stock. So while my bones and mirepoix are browning in the oven, I'm going to get my stock pot ready with all the other ingredients. And I have some parsley here that we used the other day, and I'm just going to use the stems on this, because the leaves can tend to get real overworked, basically. And I don't have any fresh thyme, but I had this that was in the refrigerator, and it kind of dried out on its own, so this is thyme. I'm just going to throw a few sprigs of thyme into there. Second best to fresh. Okay, and I've got those nice fresh bay leaves that we used in the chicken the other day. I think probably 2 big leaves is going to be plenty. And I have some peppercorns here. You don't have to grind the pepper, just toss it in there because we're going to strain this out anyway. And all I'm going to do in here is put some cold water into it. And actually, you know what? I'm going to throw just a couple of cloves of garlic into there. I love the taste of garlic. I think you can never have enough. So how about, we'll throw 4 cloves into there. Again, don't worry about chopping it up. It's going to release all those flavors as it simmers nice and slow. And all those flavors are just going to infuse into the liquid, and it's going to be beautiful. Those bones are browning up beautifully, but I'm just going to give it that little extra nudge over the edge. And this is just some tomato paste. And you may not think tomato goes really well with chicken stock, but You think about all the natural sugars in tomatoes, and that's going to help all the proteins in the chicken to brown up and to caramelize. And that's what's going to give us that beautiful flavor in our brown stock, that rich, round, full flavor. It's going to be terrific. So our stock pot is all ready for our beautiful browned bones. Can you see that? They smell incredible. Wish there was some meat on these bones so I could have a little snack right now. But I'll wait. I'll be patient. All right, get those bones into there. We've got our beautiful smelling mirepoix. You can pick out a few of those onion skins that aren't really going to add anything to it. They're nice and easy to pick off once they're browned like that. And just get everything into the pot. Turn the heat up to about medium-high. Keep an eye on it, and when it comes up to a simmer, which is just little bubbles coming up, that's the temperature you want to leave it at. You don't want it at a rolling boil, and you're just going to let it do its thing for a couple of hours, and you're going to get that lovely smell in your kitchen and really in your whole house for a couple hours. And again, I think that's worth it just for the smell. Look at all those lovely flavors in there. So our stock pot has been simmering for about 40 minutes or so, and you can already see all those beautiful colors have started to make their way into the water. But it's not quite done yet. We're going to let it do its thing for probably about another hour or so. I strained the stock and I put it into this wide flat dish. For one reason, I wanted to show you the beautiful color of that stock. That's gorgeous. And for the other reason is to cool it quickly. And tomorrow when it's cold, I'm going to pour it into ice cubes and I'm going to freeze it so that way it'll keep until Thanksgiving. Welcome back. So I let my stock cool in the refrigerator overnight. And actually you can see all the kind of fat on the top, and that's another way that we know that we're cutting out that fat. Alright, I have my ice cube tray here, and I'm just going to fill that up and pop it in the freezer. I may have to do a couple rounds of these. And as soon as those are frozen, I'm just going to put them into some freezer-safe zip-top bags, and then I know I will have my beautiful and healthy stock to make lots of great recipes at Thanksgiving. See you next time on Sing for Your Supper.